Welcome back, everyone. Today I'm going to be going over what I'm going to be using for Season 2 in the Go Battle League. So last season I had a very hard time deciding what Pokemon I was going to use, and Great League was my worst league. So I decided to use a team that FP Sticks recommended. It's Haunter, Azumarill, and Registeel. And the main point of this team is to get Haunter to sweep everything. So we're going to be leading with Haunter and learning the intricacies of when to switch and not to switch, and know when to stay in a matchup and not to. So this was like something that was really hard for me when I first started using this team, because Haunter was so delicate. You have to learn the matchups when you open with Haunter. So right off the bat, when you start off with Haunter, you're going to be switching out like 90% of the time. And part of that is knowing when the charge moves are going to happen. So like the common matchups like Azumarill, like if it's going to be Ice Beam, it's going to be 5 counts, it's going to fire, things like that. So I'm going to be showing you some of my matches from the beginning of Season 2. I did have 11 win game streak, and I think we're ranked 6 already. So for example, this Azumarill, you want to count till 5, but we did get some lag here, and he doesn't fire off, so I switch right away into Azumarill. I'm going to be shielding up the first attack here, because it's either going to be a Play Rough or a Hydro Pump, and I don't want to guess later down the matchup. So I'm just going to be blocking the first one. If they throw an Ice Beam off on the first one, it's kind of weird, because towards the end of this interaction, it's going to be down to baiting, and I don't want that to happen. So he ends up throwing a Hydro Pump here. I'm going to be throwing Ice Beams here. So I throw an Ice Beam just because it either gets a shield or it gets low enough where I could switch my Haunter in, gather up energy, and then being able to fire a Shadow Ball to whatever comes in next. So I throw Ice Beam again because I know whatever this Ice Beam, if he blocks it or not, it's not going to kill him. So I switch out my Haunter, or I actually took this matchup. It's fine. But typical in situations, I like to bring out Haunter just to get that extra energy. And luckily, I run into a Azumarill. I'm sorry, Altaria, and I get to throw an Ice Beam off, and I get to throw, get a shield. So this is great already. So I already know I have this matchup. So there's no way he's going to block this. I bring out Haunter, and he's just going to clean up. He's going to take down. So I get the Shadow Punch off, and I'm going to have enough energy to get a Shadow Ball off of Altaria. So even if he gets a Sky Attack, I have a shield, and I'm almost to a Shadow Ball, and it's already GG. So yeah, this is GG's by my opponent. But yeah, so once Haunter has enough energy and shields are down, it's GG. So it's learning when to throw and learning when to leave the matchup. Typically, I like to get my opponent's Pokemon during the matchup, the second matchup, really low, and then switch out and get the Shadow Ball. So like a situation like this, when a Pokemon has a very hard-hitting charge move like Clefable, even if it's like resisted, I like to get out of there as fast as I can. So for whatever reason, my opponent switches to Altaria, which is, I don't know why. Maybe he's just, he doesn't know the matchups. Again, this is lower level, like at rank 1 through 6, 7, 8. Those matches are going to be a little bit easier, but you still got to watch out, because you're going to be running into people that have good teams and know what they're doing. So this matchup is pretty typical. You want to get the Ice Beam off as soon as you can, and whatever they're going to do, they have to shield or they're going to get taken down. So I'm okay getting taken down here to bring out my Registeel. So I didn't want to switch because I would just waste switch advantage. So which is fine. I mean, just I would waste my option to switch, so it'll limit me more options. So a Venusaur comes out. Excuse me. You just want to be throwing flash cannons here. I don't want to charge it all the way up just because um, I could have gotten some extra energy from my Haunter. I would have switched out. But looking at the back line, I didn't need my Haunter here. So we do win with 2 shields and a loaded up Haunter. GG. And yeah, so my next opponent here is going to be Evo Omi Saturi. I personally don't like Evos. I'm a Subaru guy. And so like this, you gotta get out of here. Even though you're doing super effective damage, and I noticed this. Okay, actually I do stay in. This is actually a really crazy team. I think there's a Houndour that comes out, yeah. So this is like I thought it was gonna be a triple Shadow team, because I just saw one of the videos on Psyonix thing. I think a Victreebel was gonna be in the back for some reason, but I think it ends up being a Swampert. Or Raichu. Okay, that's fine too. So yeah, sometimes these shadow Pokemon, they throw you off, and it could be really challenging to get back on track because there's just too much action going on at the same time. So he lands a Wild Charge here. This is the new move that just got buffed. So I wanted to see how much damage it did, and it did like 50-60%, which is insane. But Raichu is just so squishy that whatever you throw at it, even if it's not very effective, it'll be taken down. So these charms are getting resisted here. And GG. So yeah, these low-level teams, these lower-level matchups, lower ranks, it's helping me to learn the switch timings and the counting timings. So that's something you should know with Haunter when you first lead off with him. So this is a new matchup for me. I think yeah, so he's not doing very effective damage to me, so I'm just going to go straight up Shadow Ball here. I didn't know how much damage this was going to do, so I wanted to see how much it did. I should probably research this, and you probably should too, but this is just out of curiosity. So I get a shield, which is great, and I have a loaded up Shadow Ball for whatever comes in next. And yeah, I'm just going to be throwing Bubbles and probably throw an Ice Beam here. It's probably not going to knock out, but I know leaving a little extra health for whatever is here is going to be good for my Haunter to farm down later. And so yeah, that's what's cool about Haunter, because you get to learn how much you want to charge up your charge move to learn the balance between taking it down or farming up for the next Shadow Ball. So I try to catch a Hydro Pump here, but I think he just has... Okay, so it's an Ice Beam. I believe he just has Ice Beam. He doesn't have a second move. So I think this is a good game already. So it's really important to have second moves. You guys already know that. I personally run Hydro Pump on my Azu, but I think it's going to be... Okay, so it is a Hydro Pump. I don't know why he went for an Ice Beam. Maybe he tried to bait me with that shield, which also makes sense, but I don't think the payoff is worth it for that bait. So we do get another Register coming out, and I do throw a Flash Cannon for some reason, which doesn't make any sense. I should have just went through the Focus Blast. So I shield this up, and I believe I switch right into Haunter. Okay, so I throw my charge move, and then I force a shield, and then Haunter will go to town. So look how much a Shadow Ball does to a Registeel. That's like 70-80%. So that's what I really like this. That's why I really like this team, because it could sweep up shop. But the downside is that if you don't know how to use this team, Haunter will be a burden more than it'll be a cannon. So yeah, so this is a matchup I didn't know, because this Skarmory is going nuts. Look at its head banging. So it's using Steel Wing. So whatever. So if I don't know a matchup, I'm just gonna be switching out. So we see a Vaporeon here. This is definitely a meta team. So yeah, I shouldn't have shielded that. I should have known it had Aqua Tail. There's no way that Water Gun could have gone up to a Hydro Pump. But just the unfamiliarness with the matchup, I just wanted to just shield up just in case. So it is an Aqua Tail again. And I'm gonna bring out Haunter. I didn't want him to get off a charge move, so I just throw Shadow Punch. So he blocks it, which is cool. But that amount of health is good enough for Haunter to get up to a Shadow Punch and almost to a Shadow Ball. Even like 1 or 2 Shadow Claws is incredible for Haunter. Yeah, Haunter is becoming one of my favorite Pokemon to use overall. So I want my opponent here to eat an Ice Beam, of course. If he doesn't, it's totally cool too, because we have Registeel with a loaded up Flash Cannon. So GG's, that was my 5 out of 5 game. I do have like 3 of them. This is just one of them, and this is this was day 1 too. So Tepig. So I like to approach Tepig with a Pineapple Berry, then go through the Great Ball just to ensure that it catches. And I don't like to switch out there because it'll be a bad matchup for my next opponent. So this is from earlier today, close to 1 p.m. Servers were down a little bit. Okay, so again, Haunter versus Skarmory. So he switches out, and we both switch out at the same time. Luckily, I get matched up with an Umbreon. So unfortunately, my opponent does not have Last Resort. So this is pretty much a good game for him for this matchup. But these Dark Pulses are adding up. I thought like this would be a complete, I would be a complete wall to him, but it's just based on the pacing, because he charges so fast with the Dark Pulses. This is almost an even matchup. Oh, you know why? It's because he shields. He takes all these shields. That makes sense. Okay. So at this point, I would be thinking about bringing in my Haunter, but he brings out his Skarmory, and I'm totally okay with this going down. I'm going to bring in my Registeel because no matter what, he is switch locked into this Skarmory, and whatever Skarmory throws at Registeel, it's not going to be very effective, and I'm just going to be charging up a little extra for whatever comes in next and throw the Focus Blast. So Skarmory goes down, and it is a Whiscash. I'm going to shield this up here just so I can get a Focus Blast off. Hopefully get another shield so I could just pull in Haunter. So if this does get a shield, I'm bringing in Haunter. But it didn't get a shield. So I just throw the Shadow Punch. And okay. I think I threw a Shadow Ball here. Yeah, I threw a Shadow Ball because I knew... First of all, I was nervous because Umbreon is totally resistant to Ghost type. And Whiscash is low enough to just eat a Shadow Punch. So, GG's. My next opponent will be bringing in, or their name is... not there. So I'll just take this time to say good luck in Great League. What teams are you using, and what are you guys struggling with? What Pokemon are you guys struggling with? Or matchups, I should say. So this is a weird matchup here. It's because Dragon Breath does so much damage, I like to get like 2 Shadow Claws and just dip out. I don't actually mind this matchup too, because the way this interaction comes down, whatever I throw out, he's going to have to shield up with Hydro Pump and take a shield. And whatever, if I throw like an Ice Beam, he's gonna get low enough so I could bring in my Haunter and just farm down. So he does use double shields, and I already know this is GG's because with Haunter and no shields, and the shields are down, Haunter's gonna go to town, like we could see coming up in a little bit. So that's perfect amount of health left for Haunter because it does super effective damage. I already have a little bit of energy. So I take out my Registeel here because I knew that Deoxys had some energy, so I wanted my Registeel to eat up whatever he's gonna throw. So now this is like good game. Look how much damage that Shadow Ball did. So I could just farm up here the Skarmory, I'm sorry, the Altaria, and just have enough energy for whatever's coming out next. So this Azumarill, like, goodbye. He's going to the Shadow Realm. That's what happens. It's just so satisfying to see. So bring out Registeel, go for the Flash Cannon, and GG's. You know what's crazy too is that Registeel and Azumarill are just like, even though everyone runs it, like people don't know how to counter it, or they do know how to counter it, but it's still a challenge. You still have to work your way switching. So Stunfisk. This is kind of a difficult matchup. So I like to switch out to Azumarill and catch the Mud Bomb like that, because if you eat a Mud Bomb, I think one Mud Bomb takes a Haunter because he's weak to it and he's really glassy. So I'm going to eat a Discharge here and hopefully land an Ice Beam. And what I want to do is put on Shield Pressure and grab the shield. So it takes out a shield, which is great. And I shield this up here. I wanted to get a little extra damage on here so I could bring in Haunter and farm down. Another shield, which is great. I don't care if Azumarill gets taken down here. So I bring in Haunter. Unfortunately, he gets to another charge move, which is totally cool. Now we have like back-to-back Shadow Balls almost. So GG Altaria, eat a Shadow Ball, off to the Shadow Realm. Farm up a little energy, go for a Shadow Punch, and he's going down. And oh my gosh, this game. Okay, so I totally messed this game up. For some reason, I bring in Azumarill. This is painful to watch. So for some reason, I bring in Azumarill and I swap to get the Weather Ball from Registeel, and I really don't know why I did this. Maybe I was thinking I could get an Ice Beam off of my Azumarill, but this is just like amateur hour. I did learn my lesson, and I could have won that. So everything up to the last Pokemon was great, except that deadly Sunflower. So another Skarmory lead. So I switch out after 2 wing attacks. I think it's a wing attack. But yeah, I don't like staying up there with Haunter because the fast move damage is just doing so much. So we get a Hydro Pump off. This is Azumarill. And again, I want to get this thing low enough to have Haunter come back out and farm down. And throw another Hydro Pump. And probably after this, I'm going to be throwing Ice Beams. Yeah. So I'm not going to block it here. I'm okay if this goes down because this is more energy for Haunter to come up in and just take it. So I didn't even know he switched to Skarmory. It's totally okay. I'm going to be throwing a Shadow Ball here. Hopefully this... Oh, it's a Shadow Punch. And if it's blocked, it's totally cool because I'm just going to back-to-back Shadow Punch. And he doesn't get another fast move there, which is great. So he burns both shields. And I'm going to be shielding this up, taking the rest of his life. I guess not. And then having his Swampert be taken to the Shadow Realm. I think I'm going to name the video that. It's pretty cool. So I bring out Azumarill. I don't know why. Maybe I was trying to eat up a Sky Attack. So he should just leave. Okay, GG's. And I believe there's one more match, but as you can see, Haunter is a very heavy hitter. If I were to describe him, it's similar to Haunter. I don't know, but GG's. So my next opponent, I was like, oh, do super effective damage. Then I forget I'm poison type, and look how much freaking damage that does. So I get out of there right away. So that's something I learned today too, that if you see a Hypno, just dip. So I blocked the Thunder Punch just to see what he had too, because Hypnos can run anything and everything. So I decided to take this Thunder Punch, which I'm totally okay with. And if this Iceman gets a shield, totally cool too. Get another Ice Beam off before it gets another Thunder Punch. And totally cool with that too. So I don't mind Azumarill going down here. Or maybe I do. Maybe I just want to go in switch advantage. So I'm down a shield, and out comes Glaceon. And if this Hydro Pump lands, it's going to do a lot of damage. So it does take shield. Totally cool with that. I bring out Reggie. And whatever Glaceon throws at me, it's going to be resisted. But I do... Okay. Yeah, that's not cool. Blaziken versus Register, you gotta get out of there. Fortunately, it's a glassy Blaziken. And gets sent off to the Shadow Realm. And we're able to take it down with the Shadow Punch. So I hope you guys are enjoying Season 2. It's been really fun for me. Especially practicing my switch times and getting to know the spicy matchups. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe, and comment. And I hope you guys get to rank 10. Peace.